Hello, I'm Micki. I donated a kidney 3 years ago to my cousin Jeannie. When I learned about kidney disease and its treatment options, I was surprised that more people in my family hadn't stepped up and offered to donate a kidney. There are approximately I think 50 people who received the email from Jeannie asking if somebody would donate. I was the only person who said yes out of those 50 close family members. And it really surprised me that I was the only one. I ultimately decided to donate a kidney because I knew it was a question of life and death for my cousin. And I knew that I had to do it. As a matter of fact, there was never any hesitation on my part. As soon as Jeannie asked, I immediately sent an email back to her and said that I was ready to do whatever it took to donate a kidney. My family worried that I was making a hasty decision without really thinking about the consequences. They thought I was just making a rash decision, which I tend to do sometimes, but I would not be dissuaded. I also thought that, what if one of my closer relatives, like one of my children, needed a kidney sometime. But then again, I thought, well, I'm over 70 years old. One of my children wouldn't want an old kidney anyway. And since Jeannie and I are the same age, it would be difficult for her to get on the list. She wouldn't be a candidate for a younger kidney. So, and as it turned out, we were a good match. So it was a wise decision, and eventually my family came to realize that as well. The only time it got harder and scarier for me was when I thought that I might be rejected as a donor. For instance, there was some question about one of my kidneys not being suitable because they thought they saw something on one of my kidneys. That scared me. And then they thought they saw something on one of my lungs, and that might rule me out. Those were the scary moments for me. The idea of donating the kidney or the surgery or recovery, that never scared me. I was determined that I was going to be the donor, and so I never really had any time when I was afraid of the procedure, afraid of the recovery, or anything like that. As I was being rolled into the ER, I felt exhilarated. I was really on top of the world. I thought, this is the beginning of something really extraordinary, that I will be able to tell my grandchildren about. This is something that I hope that I'm remembered for. This is something that I'm really proud of. I've always said since the surgery that this is the greatest thing that I've done other than giving childbirth. This is really giving life, and I'm really proud. I'm really happy. It's just a remarkable. It was a remarkable experience. I'm just. It's amazing. I'm still in awe of the whole procedure. My cousin is is doing remarkably well, and it was just an amazing experience. The best moment after my surgery was walking into Jeannie's hospital room and greeting her as she was coming out of anesthesia, and knowing that my kidney was in her body, and it was working, and that she was going to be all right. And I could see the change in her. I could see the color in her cheeks, and she was smiling. She was grinning from ear to ear. And I knew that it was working. And I just felt so, I don't know, I can't even explain it. I can't put words to it. But it was the most beautiful, extraordinary moment of my life. As I said, other than giving birth to my children, it was the most precious moment of my life, because it is life-changing, life-affirming. That's my story. My recovery was surprisingly quick. I spent 2.5, 3 days in the hospital. Oh, and by the way, they treat you very well in the hospital. I had my surgery in Baltimore, which is where my cousin lives, and I live in California. So I spent 2.5 to 3 days in Baltimore, then went to my cousin's house, and well, she stayed in the hospital. She had some complications and had to stay longer than I did. But I went to her house after the surgery, spent another 4 or 5 days at her house, and then flew back after a little more than a week. I flew back to California. So I think I was back home in a little more than a week. The level of pain was moderate. I had some cramping caused by the air that they blow into your abdomen, but that was it. I didn't have any discomfort at the surgical site, and I was back to normal in, I would say 2.5 to 3 weeks. It really is a very simple surgery for the donor. What I learned about myself through this process is that I am really altruistic. I can tolerate a lot more than I thought I could. I don't talk about this, about what I did. Pretty much keep it to myself. I don't think about it a lot. It's really pretty hard to say. I have become much more involved in volunteerism since I donated. And I think that the donation has had a lot to do with that. I have become a platelet donor through the American Red Cross regularly, because I feel that that's also another way to be giving in a physical way. What I've learned about others is that not everybody can do this. It's not for everybody. Some people are very squeamish about it. What I also have learned about others is that among the people I have met who are donors, we are a hardy bunch. I've met some of the most wonderful people who are donors, and I like these people very, very much. After donating a kidney, my health has not changed. I was healthy before I donated. I'm healthy now. I'm going to be turning 74 in about a month, and I was 71 when I donated. I'm proud of the fact that I am as healthy as I am, proud of the fact that I don't look my age, and I would donate another kidney if I could. I think that what has changed in me is, as I said before, I'm much more involved in volunteerism. I currently give 2 days a week to the asylum seekers. We have a big problem on our southern border with asylum seekers from Central America, and I am working with those people who are at the border now, trying to get asylum in the United States, and it's very gratifying work for me. And I don't know that I would have become so involved if it hadn't have been for the kidney donation. I am. I want to be. I want to be of help, and I do believe that being able to help my cousin has made me a far more generous person. Something I didn't expect, although it seems that that's being addressed now, was the lack of follow up with me as a donor. There was a 6-month checkup, and then a 1-year checkup and a 2-year checkup, but that was all done through the mail. Nobody contacted me personally. It was all done by forms, and I was quite disappointed. I had a story to tell, which is what's happening now, and I'm really happy to see that it is happening. But I felt kind of cast aside for the first couple of years until I met Diane Brockington, who had formed an organization called WELD, the acronym WELD, which stands for Women Encouraging Living Donation, which I'm an active member of. It just seemed rather odd that until now that nobody seemed interested in what the donors had to say about their experience. So I'm really happy to be able to share my experience. So I want to thank you who are recording our experiences for doing what you're doing. Looking back, the best part about donating a kidney is giving life. I mean, how many people can say that? That they were able to give somebody a second chance at life. it's remarkable. It's insane. It's just it's the most glorious thing in the world. It's there are just no words. There are no words. I just feel so fortunate that I was able to do that. They're just it's just amazing. It truly is. The best advice I could give somebody who is thinking about becoming a living donor is, of course, there are risks. There are always risks when you undergo surgery. But, so you have to think it out very carefully. You have to weigh that. After weighing the risks, and if you are a match, or if you decide to do a donation that is not a matched donation, you will be among a group of people that are unlike anybody you've met before. You will feel that your life has changed. It is so hard to explain, but you will be in a rarefied space for the rest of your days. Your donation will make a difference in someone else's life, a difference that is totally life affirming and life altering.